So hello everyone, this is 7 a.m. in the morning and I'm reading out a case study for you. So this space I have started for reading out and going through some case studies that I come across and I want to share with you. So let's start with this one. This is a depression case. So there is a female, Christina, 31-year-old, unmarried and a web UI designer. And Christina is Christian from middle class family, staying away from her parents in another city for work. And by the end of January, she started experiencing low mood and would find it difficult to get motivated to go to work. For the first couple of weeks, she put this down, saying they were blue days. That means low days that occurred post-Christmas celebration. So we can understand Christmas would be a loud celebration, and when everybody goes home, the person starts feeling lonely. Over the next few weeks, she began struggling more with the motivation, and everything seemed like a huge effort. She began having thoughts like, I'm stuck in a job. So it's like I'm stuck in the same job for a longer period of time. Everyone else is doing better than me and I'm going nowhere. So there is a feeling of self demotivating that, okay, I'm not doing great things. Things she previously really enjoyed doing swimming and seeing her friends were no longer enjoyable. So she did not find fun going outside. Since everything was such an effort to Christina, and when she did make the effort, she didn't enjoy it. So she did try to make efforts, but she did not like them. She began doing less and less, so the activities started reducing. Her friends called regularly and invited her out, but she started to refuse these invitations. So because she was no longer enjoying them, she started refusing them. So she also started feeling like a burden to her friends. And by the end of February, that means almost a month is gone, more than 2 weeks. Christina was no longer going out other than for work. She was struggling to get out of the bed also. Now, when she was at work, she found it a huge effort and thought everything she produced was useless. So there was a lot of demotivation going on here. She began to feel hopeless about the future. So her mood became lower and she decided to take 2 weeks off and try and sort herself out. So now she has realized that there's something very, very wrong and she needs to take action about it. She went to her general practitioner, now a physician, and was prescribed an antidepressant. So she took the depressant 3 weeks later, nothing had changed. And Christina realized that she had to do something, and otherwise she would risk losing her job and her friend circle as well. When counselor met Christina for assessment in the March, so now 2 months have passed. She told the counselor how her problems had developed over the previous 3 months. She said she couldn't understand why she was feeling this way, as she had a great life with a lot of friends, a close family and a good job. So the life was very good and suddenly these things were happening. So she was confused. She said nothing significant really happened and to explain why she was feeling this way and that she is just being pathetic about the situation. So she completed some questionnaires to assess the severity of her depression and she scored in the moderate range. So we all know some of the questionnaires belong to the psychology sections that we need to give it to the patient when we are trying to assess the severity. Now, CBT, the cognitive behavior therapy, has an extensive evidence base for the treatment of moderate depression and is recommended by the National Institute of Clinical Excellence. Now, the counselor is suggesting CBT for this process. Counselor discussed this approach with Christina and the counselor agreed to meet her for 6 sessions. So they have decided 6 sessions for this case. Now the sessions start and how they are proceeding. First session is understanding how the problem developed and was being maintained. So first few sessions were this. Maybe there something happened and there Christina started feeling low. Counselor and Christina spoke about a number of events that had happened in the last 6 months. She had such as breakup. Now, first thing was breakup. Then the best friend became pregnant and her sister moving away for promotion. So, good things were happening in the best friend's life, and her sister was moving away. So now the closest ones were little busy in their own lives and their own phase of life. So there's a breakup also, and there is some distance between the friends and the family. Christina learned that while none of these events alone explain her low mood, together they triggered a life review, which resulted in her having thoughts that she was stuck and not moving on as others were doing. So you can see the best friend became pregnant. That means she was starting a new family. Sister moving away for promotion. So she was also enjoying a different phase of life while she was just stuck in a mundane job as per Christina. And she started getting that demotivation in the job also. It had adverse effects. This understanding helped Christina see the importance of next phase of therapy. Now she understood that there was something wrong during this thought process, that she was feeling low about somebody being successful or moving to the next phase in their life. So she was starting getting the realization that, okay, what she was exactly feeling. Re-establishing. Now the next few sessions were re-establishing the previous levels of functioning. That means the Christina's previous life was, she was enjoying it and she was very happy. She was doing her physical activities like swimming, and she was going out with her friends. So lack of activity was identified as one of the maintaining factors in Christina's depression. Now, as we start lowering the activities, obviously that will be reducing the social mix-up with all your family or your surroundings. So that will cause loneliness, and loneliness can trigger depression. Research has demonstrated that activities which provide an individual with a sense of pleasure and mastery are most helpful in terms of improving mood. So we just now said that improving all these factors, like increasing the number of activities and being a little busy, having that pleasure of being with somebody, with your friends, that improves your mood. Therefore, the counselor spent 2 sessions thinking about activities that Christina enjoys and finds worthwhile, and began working on increasing these gradually. For example, Christina identified that while she was finding it difficult being in the group, she found easier alone. So therefore, she started to increase her activities by meeting good friends. So having a cup of coffee, doing a small walk. So this was some activity given to her over the next few weeks. So Christina had always enjoyed swimming, and while she was reluctant to start going again, so benefits of exercise, that was very important. So her counselor started encouraging her to start exercising, which was very, very important. And then she managed to go. While she did not enjoy few swims, so initially she did not enjoy, but moving ahead, she enjoyed it more. Significant improvement was seen after involving in these activities. That was very, very clear. Managing self-critical thoughts. Now she was blaming herself that she was stuck in the job, and she was demotivating herself that she was doing nothing. Whatever she was doing is useless. So here it's important to change these thoughts and improve them towards a positive thinking. Next, counselor moved on to Christina's thinking style. Christina was having a lot of self-critical thoughts that is, I am useless, as we just said. No one wants me around, I'm burdened. These thoughts were having a negative impact. So counselor agreed they needed to be tackled. Counselor spent 3 sessions working on self-critical thinking and increasing self-compassion. So self-compassion meaning being really kind to yourself, that okay, sometimes if you take rest, it is just fine. Your body needs it. You need to accept that. You need to accept what you are feeling. So show some self-compassion. This work focused on learning to identify negative thoughts and self-critical thoughts, evaluating the truthfulness of these thoughts, and developing more balanced and helpful ways of thinking. Now, Christina realized that she was constantly telling herself even the things that were not her fault. So self-compassion was developing. But she was not, it was not her fault, whatever was happening with her. That speaking to herself in this way and holding her back instead of moving her on was not required. By developing a more balanced and compassionate way of thinking, she focused on what she was doing well and her mood improved. So whatever she was doing nice, she was doing great things, she had to focus on them and not what was not happening. So whatever was not happening, it was not her fault. Now, review and relapse prevention. So they had to extend the sessions from 6, at the 6th session, counselor had a review and they agreed for 2 more sessions, because we had spent 3 sessions on increasing her thought process. The counselor and Christina agreed on 2 more sessions. Now here the counselor is working on review and relapse prevention. That means the depression can also develop on other events in future if they happen. So now we need to focus on in such a way that the patient is able to handle these kind of thoughts on their own and they are on their own feet. Counselor worked on thinking in 7th session and used 8th session to develop a relapse prevention plan. So this consisted of identifying her skills and strategies she had learned to manage her mood, considering the potential triggers in the future and planning how she will manage these. So triggers in future can be possible that something else will happen and Christina again starts blaming herself or starts feeling low and stops her activities. So how she manages these all things with her hobbies, her positive thinking, that was important. At the end of the therapy, Christina completed the same questionnaires and her scores showed that she had minimal depression. So now the moderate depression had come down to minimal. Christina was delighted with the outcome of the therapy and she not only felt better but also her skills to manage any future occurrences of low mood also developed. So this is the case we were discussing about depression and how the counselor used small therapies and the ways to inculcate positivity in the patient. This is what we can observe from this case study. So thank you for being with me here, and this is Shweta signing off. You will see me in the next videos and with some more exciting stuff going on. Bye-bye.